So in this video, I want to just talk about how I activated my Kundalini energy by mistake using weed and music creation. Because weed alters your state of consciousness, right? The THC is like a psychedelic, but it's not at the same time. But it wasn't really those two things. It was everything that those two things was doing, because I was also making music. I would just make it in my closet over there, just by myself, essentially. Through this is actually how I randomly just activated my Kundalini energy one day. Now, I don't know exactly what else was happening around me within the energetic spaces that made this happen, but I will tell you what I was doing and what my mindset was like and everything that was going on with my and own thoughts and internal energy space that I feel like actually brought this on. So first I wanted to explain why Kundalini activation is important, because since then I've done a lot of research, figure out what actually happened, and as well as what I've been experiencing after it happened. Once you activate your Kundalini, which it's a very esoteric way to look at it, but it's actually backed by neuroscience and science as well. It's basically just energy that is dormant within the base of the spine. This energy is the connection to your spirit, your higher self, essentially, a connection to universe. It's a deeper connection to life, essentially, is what it is, but it's the energy that's at the base of the spine. It's honestly your remembrance, right? Your remembrance as a soul past just this body. Your spine and your brain remembers, but it needs to feel safe enough. Your body needs to feel relaxed enough within your own psyche in order for it to actually release. So this is why it's important to begin the process of releasing energetic baggage and karma. A lot of the things that society makes us believe we have to be like, it makes it to where our natural way of being or our natural energy doesn't feel safe of rising to the top, right? So it's basically just information there, right? The energy is just information that has always been around since ancient times or whatever. So once it feels safe enough, it will rise and become known again within your current soul. Reincarnation. So I would hope that you understand that this is 9 times out of 10 not the only body that your spirit has reincarnated into, which means that your soul remembers, your spirit remembers, and that energy and that remembrance is lodged within the base of your spine. So this is not to say that you're just gonna remember all your past lives after this happened, because I haven't really dove into that area. I'm gonna just tell you the powers that it gives you once your Kundalini is activated. So one of the first and most important things, right, is subconscious reprogramming. Your subconscious is gonna automatically start to get reprogrammed, right, through the fact that when your Kundalini activate, it begins the process of fully flushing out your chakras, your energy centers, right? Your energy centers is where you hold a lot of emotional baggage. Those are going to start to get cleansed outside of your energetic field, essentially. And one of the big ones, right, is going to be your third eye, which we know is in between both our eyes here. But your third eye actually travels to the back of your head as well, where I guess the control center of your subconscious is. So one of the big things that happen is not, as well as your energy centers being cleared out, is going to really work on your crown chakra too at the top of your head. But the bigger one is your third eye. Your subconscious is going to automatically start to get reprogrammed in a way where it's cleansing out a lot of these ideas that you hold that are not conducive to your spirit and your soul living its most harmonic life. Because as you should know, your subconscious and your conscious in general runs your life. That's what's in control of the life that you are creating. And as you should already know, is that within our first 7 years of life, our subconscious programming happened from our parents, right? In the environment around us as we was, born to the age of 7. I'm pretty sure at this point, if you're watching this, you've already been doing some type of form of reprogramming, which is good, because that's how you want to get into the start in this process. But once your Kundalini activate, it pretty much creates a whole new frequency that you start to vibrate on, which means that you get a whole new programming. So essentially, once your Kundalini get activated and it starts to cleanse out your chakras as well as reprogram your mind automatically to be in line with the understanding of your higher self, essentially you're going to start to create a new life automatically. So it gives you more power and control over your natural energy, over your natural ability to control energy, your energetic space, and just the energy around you. This is through your intuition and being aware of the energies that are present within your life. and just knowing how to control and manipulate them and how to change them, how to transmute the energies. And then the second, and I feel like is really, I mean, all of these is important, but this one here is I'm really been utilizing a lot, is you begin to get, you got a connection to like universal intelligence. So you kind of become like a genius in a way. Well, yeah, in a sense that you just kind of know more. Like when you start tapping into certain ideas, you able to, like, it's like your consciousness is able to communicate with universal intelligence to the point where you're able to start pulling out resources and pulling out downloads, which is just thoughts, information, that you might wonder, like, how did I just get this answer? So it's like you in communication with universal intelligence, because as you should know, all intelligence is already here, right? It's just your ability to tap into it. Now, usually we use stuff like books, which is still a very, very good resource, right? But you're going to just realize how you can start to just know things. As you think about certain concepts and you start to ask yourself questions, like how most of us think about things, but as you think, you're just going to feel yourself getting the answers just out of nowhere. And you're going to be wondering, like, you're going to be blowing your whole mind, like, how did I just, like, what? That's crazy. And then you look it up and you see that it is right, and you like, oh, that's insane. You are in alignment. Your consciousness is in alignment because it's dealing with your spine as well as your brain. Be in alignment to actually communicate with universal intelligence. So you kind of become a genius in a way if you use it the right way to think about whatever it is that you want to think about, right? Whatever you want to gain more information on. Your Kundalini activation is just your dormant power that lies within the base of your spine. Everybody has this. It's just energy that's built up within the base of your spine that once it's activated, you remember your true power. Because the thing about it is, like, us as humans, like, we have an energetic body as well. Like, we have a spiritual side to us as well. Like, we're not just this. We're not just this flesh and meat. I'm hoping you already know that, though. So the story for me is basically it was a normal day of me just making music in that closet over there, you know, smoking weed, getting to the point where I'm making music. And this particular day, though, I was wanting to start actually recording my own live performances to my songs and just post them on YouTube. You know what I mean? Just set up a camera and a mic like this right now. I play my song as I'm like, act like I'm performing it live, essentially. And yeah, I was just vibing like a normal day. Like, the thing about when I make my music and I really like it, like, it does something to my whole body. Like, I vibrate on a different level, which is why I just think it's important for most people to just start creating music. As I'm just diving deeper into understanding how this happened for me, making music is so important. It really is. Now, at this point, I was making music for about 5 years, so I done got like real good at it, right? But I was just making the music that I would want to make. That's what it was. It's like I didn't necessarily even want to be a music artist. It just, I wanted to make music that I wanted to hear and what I wanted to make. I kind of just got tired of listening to other people's music, which was, their music is good too, but it's like sometimes I just want to hear a specific thing, and the only way to do that is to make it yourself, right? I was in there vibing, getting ready to record a simple live performance on YouTube, and at the same time I was visualizing myself being able to make, I guess, a living off of YouTube, right? Even though I technically did not want to be a music artist by traditional standards and everything that you had to do to actually get known, I was still just visualizing as if it worked out and people was enjoying my music somehow. So I was imagining, you know, myself being in a big house with the nice cars, you know, my brother around me, and you know, he being like my bodyguard, basically just creating this idea in my head, right? Just wealth and just being in joy. I was visualizing that at the same time I was listening to my music and just vibing with that heavy while I was high as hell off of weed, and boom, out of nowhere it just happened. Right, I just felt the energy just shoot up my spine. It was something like I never experienced before. And I know it's other certain experiences that you can have that are similar, but I knew that this was something different. It made my body moving like in all kinds of ways, like jolting my whole body around and just like that, like involuntary movements. It was crazy, but it felt good though. So I wasn't really tripping about it too much. It was just weird, right? It just shocked me out of nowhere. So then after that, I was just feeling all of this energy surrounding me. My intuition was heightened at that point. I stopped though. Like, I was just trying to figure out what was going on with my energy. So I kind of stopped everything I was doing to the point where I couldn't even continue trying to record a video. So I had to go sit down in this chair right here. And I'm just sitting here and I'm just with my eyes closed, and I'm just feeling like this. It's like my energy was getting massaged. I mean, my spine was getting massaged, and all of my energy centers was just getting massaged. Like, at this point, I wasn't doing no chakra work. I wasn't even fully in believing all of this like that. Like I was still spiritual at a sense, but it's like I was still iffy on chakras. I was still iffy on like all of this stuff for real, on like the deeper quantum physics. If it was actually all true, like before it even happened, like at a certain point I kind of stopped even believing in it, right? Like knew that it was there, but I wasn't really tripping over it. So, but this happened out of nowhere. So now I'm sitting here and I'm just feeling my spine getting massaged by this energy, right? Good energy, right? Very good feeling energy that was necessary that I didn't know was actually even needed. Anyways, that's how it got activated. And then after that, for about a month, it's like I didn't have no person to help walk me through, I guess, everything that will be happening afterwards. So it was an interesting time. It was a very interesting time because I basically went in between the veil of the realms of the spiritual versus the physical while I was still here. So I'm just dealing with a lot of different energies, a lot of grief, just kind of, which was clearing my heart chakra out. Because what happens is you go into a state, they call it the dark night of the soul, right? Where you go into a state where you're able to see a lot of the BS that your mind holds. So one of the big things for me was fear. So I was dealing with a lot of fear as I was going through these these changes, because it's like it's like everything that's within your subconscious get brought out to the front of you. So you able to deal with them. Like it's like you dive fully into your own mind, your own subconscious, and things that you didn't even know was still there. And it's there so you can start to release them. So you can start to actually figure out how to overcome them and release them. Just a lot of things that was going on, dealing with negative, even dealing with like lower energies and negative energies and stuff like that. And just, man, it was definitely a time. So your soul is being purified, which is karmic release. Your soul is being purified to merge with your immortal spirit. So I want to let you know that that's part of the reason why you came here right now, is to help your soul release karma so it can rise and actually merge with your immortal spirit while you still here living in this life. That's your whole reason for being incarnated again, is to help release built up karma from your past lifetimes. I'm saying this to tell you to look into actually doing it, but like try to get a teacher or something, man, unless you just want to go into it and you know that you're strong enough to figure it out as you're going through it, because you can, because I did it, you know what I mean? I would just say that you will have an easier time of navigating all of the things that's gonna happen afterwards, because it's like it's a complete shift in your consciousness, right? So you're just gonna be experiencing things that seem supernatural, right? And especially for me, I was still smoking weed, you know what I mean? So it was throwing me in like states of psychosis, and I was just having definitely a little bit of a hard time, but I got through it. And I don't say that to mean to scare you or anything like that. It was just me personally, and just kind of how I grew up, and just always felt like I had to protect my energy. Like I went through sort of things before this that have put me in sort of states like the same way, basically, that I had to overcome. I got laced before by by a certain individual. Yeah, it was just big on my subconscious, and I had to like try to figure all of that out. But I'm saying that for you to just warn you about it as you're doing it, to like find a teacher, right? It happened to me out of just nowhere, so I had to go through it as I did. But you can also, I would say that you can do it by yourself too. Like it's really not that crazy. It's just about getting grounded. That's what I wasn't doing, is I wasn't getting grounded. As that happens, it's like you really got to start doing your spiritual practice, like meditation, going out and getting your feet in some grass, right? Getting yourself grounded in reality as you're going through it, because your mind, your crown chakra, you're going to be so high up within your consciousness that sometimes you might be toting the lines on what you think is real and what's not real. Not to scare you away from any Kundalini activation, because it's actually what you want to do. Trust me, it's what you want. If you want to activate your full power while you're still here, and not just be walking around normal and just a meat suit and feeling like society has no magic to it. Like we really have magic. I just explained to you what the magic is, right? It's your connection to universal intelligence, as well as having more power and control over your natural energetic abilities. This allows you to manifest and create a life that you want. By the way, yeah, the automatic subconscious reprogramming that happens, you need that as well, so you can really start to create a harmonious life for your soul while you're here. I'm making this to get you to actually activate your Kundalini energy and really look into it, right? But I still want to warn you that maybe you might want to find a teacher. You can find them online as well on YouTube or however you found them. Or if you want to go in and you want to do it yourself, you can do that as well, because you can do it, because I did it too, and yeah, it just might be a little bit tougher. You got to make sure you know what's happening. I had no idea what was happening. That's the thing. So if you're watching this and you're already a step ahead of me, because you know to look forward. You know what to look for. I had no idea what was happening until, in the middle and afterwards, And so I want to talk about the mindset shifts and the reprogramming that I was doing along with this that helped start the process, I feel. So one of the first ones was safety. This is what people like to talk about with the nervous system, going from parasympathetic to sympathetic, right? This is dealing with your root chakra. So getting yourself out of survival, like fight or flight, as you're going around your normal day-to-day basis. So just reminding yourself that you're safe, hugging yourself, the way that I like to do it is I like to imagine the fact that I'm not in the woods, trying to fight bears and stay away from snakes. That's real danger. All right. If we sitting here and, I'm just in my room right now recording, and I got a computer in front of me and I'm good, got some food around me, water whenever I need it. Like, you're safe. And you got to remind your psyche, you got to remind yourself that you are safe. The only danger you might have to worry about for real is going outside and somebody trying to attack you. But that don't really happen, right? That don't really happen at all. So you're really safe. There's nothing really threatening around you at all. We're not in the jungle no more. We're not in the woods. And you got to remind your nervous system of that, right? Especially if you came out of a situation where you were in a fight or flight or survival state of being, right? You came out of a family that was like that. The next one, right, is confidence. And this came from self-esteem, installing self-love, self-acceptance, and just compassion for self. So I had got to a certain point where I just stopped caring about trying to be successful and trying to be, great in general, right? Because it's like, for me personally, I couldn't hold down a job or take the traditional route that would bring on success in that. So I just got to a point where I just stopped caring. You know what I mean? I really did stop caring, and I stopped putting my self-worth on predicated on the things outside of me. I stopped putting my self-worth to what it is that I'm doing. And instead, I just remember that I would wake up and I would just tell myself when I woke up, I would just accept who I am right now. I don't need to be anything. You don't need to be anything. You good how God made you. This world like to make you think that if you're not getting up and doing something great and something amazing, if you're not building this and doing that, and if you're not this standout type of person, then it's you can't accept yourself. But that's not true. God made you how you are. So you wake up with your cup full every day, because the truth is you came here to just experience existence. You didn't come here to make anybody else's life a certain way. You didn't come here to prove yourself to anybody or even yourself. How you wake up is enough. So that's the idea, is wake up already accepting yourself, getting yourself out of a lack. When you're not in lack of anything, we kind of got to stop letting our external dictate if we are abundant or in lack. That's not what dictates abundance or a lack, right? Your mindset is either abundant or a lack. So you can wake up and say that my cup is already full. I already have everything that I need, right? Because God gives you that as soon as you waking up. God didn't send you here so you can try to obtain all of these materialistic things. The material shit don't matter. It's your spiritual and how you feel internal that matters the most. But they try to get us to believe that our external environment and what we have makes us abundant, but it doesn't. Your cup is already full. And by cup, it's your energetic cup, all right? It's your energy. You take your energy back by declaring it, right? Don't put your energy into anything outside of you. You don't have to get up and go do this thing or do that thing and earn whatever. You don't have to earn anything. You already earn things just by waking up and living. If you're able to wake up, you are the most abundant thing here, because life is abundant in itself. You are the most important thing here, over above any material object. Materials is just materials, right? We just extracting materials out of the earth and just using them to build things, and then putting a certain level of a pedestal on that. I need that thing. Yeah, this material thing is better than that. We scrap material. Material gets scrapped as well as made. So material really don't mean anything. You mean everything. It's you. You are the real form of technology that cannot be created other than what God created you to be. So when you show up, it's like you ain't got to run these many miles. You ain't got to be this productive in your day, right? You don't have to be any of that. Your self-esteem, your self-love for yourself of who you are now, right? Accepting who you are now, right? It ain't predicated on what you do once you wake up. It's the fact that you just get to wake up and experience and exist. Your cup should already be full because there's nothing outside of you that's going to fill your cup up besides you. So next after that is your creative expression. So that's why I feel like doing some form of artwork, or I would say even getting into music. The reason for music though is because you actually expressing yourself vocally too, right? When you make music, you speaking from the heart. So you expressing yourself. And this creative expression, right? This helps clear out your sacral chakra, your solar plexus, your heart chakra, as well as your throat, right? This is if you do music creative expression, right? If you do any other form of creative expression, the things that you might have to look out for is just your throat chakra, which is being able to express yourself through you speaking your truth, basically. But if you do music, you're already gonna be speaking your truth from your heart. So that's why music tackles even more chakras, I feel like, as far as the different creative avenues you can take, but you have to be some form of creative, right? Because it's just important for helping to clear out those chakras. The safety part is your root chakra, right? This part that I'm just talking about with the confidence, self-acceptance, and then as far as your creative expression, right? That's hitting your sacral chakra, your solar plexus, your heart chakra, as well as your throat chakra. The mindset shifts that you have, the reprogramming that you're doing within yourself that automatically starts the process of clearing out these chakras. You get me? So you ain't necessarily got to be doing chakra work. It's the reprogramming of the mindset shifts that clears out the chakras. Because what blocks the chakras is the energetic baggage that you hold on to, right? It's your thoughts that create the karma. And when you start to shift your thoughts, when you start to shift your thinking, those start the process of clearing out your chakras. So yeah, so creating and acting from the heart, that also helps with your throat chakra. Like just being authentic, walking around being authentic, being genuine, and just creating and acting and moving from the heart. That clears out your throat chakra as well. And then your third eye, which mine was already kind of activated because I'm a water sign, I'm a Pisces. So for us, we already kind of like dwell on that side of intuition or whatever. We just have a heightened intuition automatically. Basically, when it comes to the third eye, you basically just want to remember that you are more than just this physical body, like we already talked about before. Now the crown chakra, connecting this to God and stuff like that. But as you start to move up, it's like you got to do less and less work. You really got to start with the bottom ones, right? The root, the sacral, the solar plexus, even into the heart. Those is like kind of the main ones, because as you start to clear those out, those help you to clear out the rest of them, right? You just got to start the process from down and then let that move up naturally. So yeah, you just got to really come from the thought of when you're waking up is like, I'm already successful and I'm already great. Like it's nothing I have to come out here and prove to anybody or even to myself of my own self-worth. Your self-worth is not predicated on anything external. Your self-worth is essentially predicated on your ability to ignore the external and just see yourself how God sees you. God created you perfect how you were made. Like God's idea of perfection, our idea of perfection is two different things. All of the flaws that's within us is part of God's perfection in our creation. So just remember that you are already created perfectly, right? And from that standpoint, right, not to say that you can go out and start to, if you want to lose weight, right? If you want to you want to instill certain other habits, that's fine, right? But don't come from it from an idea of lack, right? Coming from an idea of I'm already good how God created me, but I still want to improve on this and this and that. Right now you're moving from from your cup being full, from abundance, and you still actually doing these things to improve your life. You're not doing it from lack and feeling like you have to do these things in order to, fill your cup up. So just wake up in the morning with your cup already full. Tell yourself these things every day you wake up in the morning, that you're not out here to prove anything to nobody or even to yourself. You ain't got to get out here to do any acts to prove your self-worth. You already wake up with this immense self-worth. All right, your connection with God will tell you that. Like you can't be out here trying to perform for other people and like focusing on the external validation from other people because they don't matter. At this point that this Kundalini happened with me, like that was my mindset, and I would just basically at this point in my life, I'm just living with my moms and I'm just making music, and I'm thinking about posting it, starting to post it to YouTube, even though I'm knowing it's not going to get no views, because I'm just not going to play any of these little games to try to get the attention, right? Like, I just told myself I wasn't going to do that. So 9 times out of 10, I wasn't going to make it happen, because I know how rigged the music industry is. I know how rigged society is. As I'm getting ready to post these videos and live performances on YouTube, I'm just having in my head, like, I'm knowing that this is not going to work, but I'm going to do it anyway, because I don't care to do anything else. At this point, I had given up on society. I had given up on trying to be anything else than just what I wanted to do. And the only thing I wanted to do at that point was make music and vibe to it, and just put it out for whoever wanted to see it, knowing that nobody was really going to see it. But that's just what I wanted to do. And I knew that I was going to end up one day as homeless. I was really thinking that, like, I'm going to probably be homeless one day then, because I don't want to get a job. I can't hold down a job. I don't care to try to go and get a degree in this and that. I didn't have any interest besides making music. I didn't. So I just figured one day I'm gonna just end up homeless, and I'm gonna just probably just keep making music, and one day I'm gonna figure it out. If I get homeless and I'm like, dang, I gotta go do this and that, then I'll do it. But other than that, I wasn't trying to do anything, force myself to do anything that I just didn't want to do in that time frame. You know what I mean? And that was just where I was at with that. And that's as soon as the Kundalini awakening happened. So the science behind this is science like to describe these experiences as like deep neurological, hormonal, and psychological shifts. That's what the Kundalini awakening is from a scientific standpoint. So it is real science behind it. Science does acknowledge this energy that gets activated, right? They just see it from two different ways. And so that's how science sees it. So from the esoteric or whatever spirituality or religion that you want to dive into that speaks about the Kundalini, pretty much all of the practitioners from historical to present day, mental clarity, emotional release, and spiritual transcendence, which I will tell you that's exactly what happened.